Welcome to the Color of Influence podcast, where you will hear conversations from influential people of color from around the world, from social media, and right here in your communities. These behind-the-scenes conversations will motivate you, inspire you, and encourage you. I am your host, Aisha Morgan, and let's meet today's guest. Today's guest is Xav Handfield. He is a nationally recognized speaker, a plant-based consultant, and an influencer. His mission is to use his gift and his voice to inspire and evoke change in the world. In 2017, he created the Plant Based Brotha, which helps people transition to a plant-based lifestyle and exposes inner-city communities to healthier foods. I had the pleasure of meeting Xav at a book signing for the Plant Based Brotha, and we connected, hung out, went to some vegan events, and it has been a pleasure watching his brand grow on Instagram. So without further ado, let's meet today's guest, Xav Handfield. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are here with Xav, who AKA is the Plant Based Brotha. And I met him a couple of years ago at a book signing for Fit Men Cook. Mm-hmm. And we immediately started talking with some other people and clicked. And we are obviously both in the Houston area. Don't get to see each other much because of COVID. But now the world is open. So hopefully we can meet up. Yeah, meet up at some more events. Mm-hmm. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and we'll get right into our conversation.
Yo, what's good, y'all? My name is Zav, better known as the Plant Based Brotha. I am originally from the greatest place on earth, Miami, Florida. Been in Houston for about 10 years. I like to say that I started my plant-based journey in the year 2000 when I was around 12 years old, because that's when I intentionally gave up meat, but I still did dairy and fish from time to time. And eggs, dairy, eggs, and fish from time to time. 2015, I made a decision to go fully no animal byproducts. And in 2017, I decided to become the Plant-Based Brotha for y'all. I was already the Plant-Based Brotha, but for y'all and for everybody else. And that journey it's been pretty crazy. It's been crazy. It's been good. It's been explorative. And I'm just so honored to be on your podcast today.
Awesome. So why don't you tell us, from 12 years old, what made you just decide I'm just not eating any meat?
Yeah, no, that's such a great question. I've always been the type of young person that marches to the beat of my own drum. I feel like I'm that way as an adult too.
Yeah.
And so I remember there was a documentary at my church, and it was this person just doing this presentation, and they were talking about milk and what was in milk, pus and blood and this, that, and the third, and just what they do to the animals. And I, as a 12-year-old, you're like, wait, what? And so I went home and I think I ate some turkey that day, turkey or chicken. But then shortly thereafter, I decided to give up just meat. I only decided to do fish, and I was doing dairy at that time. But yeah, I saw a documentary. It impacted me in such a way. I went home, I was like, yo, mommy, I want to, I call my mom, mommy. Yeah, still to this day. I was like, yo, mommy, I want to go, I think it was vegetarian at the time. And she was like, cool. But it had been in my family, and I knew other vegetarians, so it wasn't a foreign concept.
Yeah. So going from that to starting your social media. So were you like most people who you had your personal page, and then you kind of found that you were posting a lot of stuff about being a vegan or vegetarian, and you just kind of transitioned into the different page?
Yeah, no. So I'm college, I got on social media and Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And with Instagram, what happened was everyone started reaching out to me about the documentary, What the Health. They were like, oh my gosh, I saw What the Health. It really transformed me, and I would like to do no meat. And that's what people kind of knew me for. So I was like the automatic person that a lot of people reached out to, because I used to post my recipes on social media and whatnot. And when so many people kept reaching out to me, I was like, yo, I need to probably start a separate social media page just for that. And I mean, it went through so many changes I was just like, I'm just going to go around to different places. I do like to travel. I like to go around to different places and just show you what you can eat as a plant-based, vegetarian, vegan, flexitarian, whatever label that you want to put on yourself. And then I got certified from Cornell University's online school, eCornell, in plant-based nutrition. So I was like, okay, I want to be a consultant. But then I'm also a mentor, like in my personal life. So I'm like, I want to be a coach. So it just went through different changes. It's like, okay, I'm a food blogger, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant. So now I kind of focus on creating content that make being plant-based cool. Just making being plant-based cool and accessible and easy to individuals.
Okay. So food blogging, I feel like everybody thinks they're a food blogger.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Everybody has to take a picture of what they're eating and have this like profound, caption. But how did you transition to doing like more of the food blogging? Like, was it more vlogging like online, or did you have a page where you were writing about different places you went?
Looking back, I've always said I'm a food vlogger. Simply because I'm a talker, I'm a speaker by trade. So I would absolutely rather say like, hey y'all, I'm color influence, we about to cook up some meals, or wherever I'm at this restaurant, and use my mouthpiece instead of like writing it out in this long, arduous caption. So I'm definitely vlogging. I thought about doing the blog thing, and I still might. It's not out of the scope as of yet. But definitely vlogging, using my mouthpiece, and just saying like, hey, y'all need to come here. This food was nasty. This food was great. And making people aware that way.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I had a blog.
I remember I used to read it.
Yeah, it was personal. So it was easy for me to write it, but I couldn't imagine like writing something that was just not off the dome, like where I had to, use good sentences or whatever and really captivate people into like going somewhere, which is how I even started podcasting to begin with, because it was just the same thing, people asking me questions about stuff, or they want follow-up to like stuff that I was saying, or they kind of related to what I was saying. So I'm like, it's so much easier for me to just talk this out than write all these responses. So that's kind of where I was. So how did you grow your page? Because over time, me watching, your content totally change, and just, your followers growing and growing and growing. How did that happen?
Oh, wow. So a couple years ago, there was this guy. He's like an art guy and a tech guy. And I don't think I've ever shared this. I don't think I ever shared on the podcast. But so there was this guy. I remember I had like 1,900 followers. And there's this guy, and he would help you get more followers or whatnot. So these days people like really be buying followers or whatnot, like legit be buying followers. But this wasn't like buying followers where you have like 1 million followers and 3 likes. It's like those are people that bought followers. Like, no. This was to help influencers with their engagement. So I worked with this company for like 2 months, and whatever system and program that they use, they actually engaged and they follow people, and people followed you back. And I think I went from like in 2 months from like 1,900 followers to like 5,000.
Oh, okay.
And that was that was like in 2018 or 2019. And then I just kept growing, very slowly but surely growing. But then you just create content that people actually care about.
Yeah.
Because not for nothing, I just hit 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing about it is I was at like 9,000 for like, I felt like a year or two. I was just like, bro, why is it not moving? Why is it no growth? And then I do a couple Instagram reels, get out of my own head. We definitely got to talk about that, getting out your own head, imposter syndrome, and just all those things that you're like, oh, no, Aisha has better content than I do. I'm not going to post anything. And so once I did that, I started doing strategic collaborations, and connected with other like-minded individuals. They're like, yo, bro, you dope. I was like, you dope too. And that's the thing. Like, even if you don't have 1 million followers, if you connect with someone, let's say someone has a similar page as you, they're doing similar thing, or you just like what it is that they do, say something, support, share their stuff. And that's what people were doing with me. So the more eyes, the more like, okay, this dude is like, he's Black. People say it to me all the time. Like, yo, you Black, you're young, and you're plant-based. I don't see that all the time.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm just like, I see it all the time, right? But I'm not in other people's shoes. So I take a step back and I'm like, okay, I got what I'm doing matters. What I'm doing is important. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like, that low key is a motivation, because I want to be one of those safe spaces, if you will. Like, yo, this is another Black man. He ain't gonna leave me wrong. I'm not trying to have you be unhealthy or nothing like that. It's just, it's all plant-based and all good. So, yeah.
So thinking back on like when you kind of started to change your content, what was your focus? So at the beginning, what were you doing? And then kind of what did you flip?
So I've always been about value, whether I had 5 followers or 5,000 followers, value. So that has actually not changed. I used to do a lot of videos, like, okay, people need videos and they need to, and the Instagram algorithm actually was a lot different back then from when we first got on. It's better. You can do more things. So I was creating videos and I was just like, value. You know, when someone comes to my page, I want them to leave with something. So I started off, just posting different restaurants I was at. Mm-hmm. Then I moved on to videos. And then I moved on to like just strategic collaborations, whether it was with a really popular videographer or a really popular influencer. I remember during COVID, I mean, we're still in COVID, but at the beginning of the pandemic, we did the Don't Rush video that everybody, loved, and everybody was doing it. And it's one thing about me, I love curating spaces. I love curating just vibes. And so I was like, yo, I'm gonna get some of the people that I think are dope, and we're gonna do a Don't Rush challenge. And it was cool. We got it together. And I think we had the best one. I ain't even gonna hold you, but I'm just saying, I think we had the best one. But it was during that, again, more people, more eyes. And I was like, I actually like this. I like collaboration, because one of my favorite African proverbs says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with other people. So that's definitely been my MO as far as collaborating with other people and just growing my page. And just, again, going back to that V word, having value.
Yeah. So anytime throughout this journey, were you ever sponsored by anybody to make posts?
Oh, yeah. And Issa Rae said something really, really powerful. And she said 2 things that are powerful that I kind of like think about. You know Issa Rae, Insecure, Awkward Black Girl. Love Issa Rae. And the first thing is, she said so many times we're so focused on reaching the Chris Pauls and the Lizzos and the Tabitha Browns, when we need to be reaching out to the Aishas and the Zavs and the other people that kind of like are on our level. So that's something that I'm really big on. And the second thing is, so many times and I'm going to get back to your question. So many times we are in the spaces where we're just so thankful to get like, $5 little. Whereas we have counterparts, whether they may be women or, people not of color, that are getting to the bag. And we just so thankful for our little $5 sponsor. So I have been sponsored, and it's definitely been a blessing. But in this season, in 2022, the year of our Lord, I'm advocating for myself. It's not like I'm not going to do things for free, but so many times people want to take advantage of you. So I have been sponsored. Those checks have been good. I remember like one of my first sponsorships was the Vegandale Festival. So it came to Houston. Okay. And they're like, yo, we want you there. We'll give you 2 tickets. I need you to post, and then we'll pay you for, I think it was like $25 or something like that. I don't know. What up, Vegandale? No, it's like $25 per post. And I was just like, I'm posting for free now. I will absolutely take your $25. Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that was like my first sponsorship. And then, people start sending me stuff. I love that. I love when people like, hey, we would love for you to, we'd love to send you some stuff. And of course, I don't accept everything, because if I'm like, I don't really vibe with this, or this doesn't align with what I'm doing, or I'm really not interested in trying this, I respectfully decline. But yeah, being sponsored and getting sick, promotional stuff and food is always all of the vibes.
So out of all the things that you received, what do you think was like your favorite, where you're just like, oh yeah, this is it. This is going to be a steady thing in my pantry or my meals.
Ooh, that's good. Oh, that's real good. I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. So there's this company that I absolutely love. They're a streetwear company called Dia. And that is actually one of the favorite. They're like, yo, we don't see many brothers in the space of like the vegan plant-based world.
Yeah.
We'd love to send you some stuff. But the funny thing about it is I knew about them before they reached out to me because I had like some headbands and I had some other of their merchandise. Mm-hmm. And I told them that, and funny story is kind of serendipitous where they looked in like their sales. They're like, yo, besides our friends and our family, you would want to be first people to buy from us. I was like, are you serious? Like when they told me that, I was just like, man. And so honestly, I have like headbands and shirts and shorts and like hoodies, and they're working on aprons. Like that is absolutely my favorite. Like I legit was just thinking a couple of days ago, I can't wait till I get my DI paper because it's all Ankara African print, and I'm big on like all black everything, the motherland, the diaspora. So that actually that's my curveball. That actually is my favorite.
That's cool though. So you want to know? I remember when you were posting about
Don't do it to me. Juice Land?
No, it's not Juice Land, but I do remember that.
Yeah.
What's the imperfect foods, right? Isn't that?
Yes.
So I was like telling people about it because you posted it. Like I had never
Are you serious?
I had never heard of it. So just so you know, like people are paying attention. I think I probably liked it, but I'm not a commenter, which I need to get better at. But but yeah, I was like, oh, that's such a good idea. And like you would be cooking, the stuff that you had in your boxes. And
yes.
So I don't know if they sponsored you, but
it was so funny. Like the Texas rep actually knew my cousin, and they knew each other very well. And we just somehow got connected. God connected us, and divine appointment and intervention. And they sent me a couple boxes, and because I like you, I never heard of them. I was like, what is imperfect food? And I love the business model because this is me stepping on my soapbox, which I hope you would oblige. And I just hate that in our country we throw away. We are so wasteful.
Yeah.
You go to restaurants. I've seen it before. You go to grocery stores and they're literally throwing out food on a daily basis when we have a hunger problem in our country.
Yeah.
And people, like, there are working people that cannot eat. And so I hate how wasteful we are in our country. So I love that there was a company that decided to not be incredibly wasteful. So
yeah, I know. And I like the concept of it too. Because I was just like, oh yeah. Like you think about it. I mean, now I subconsciously tell myself, don't be that picky. Like when I'm at the grocery store, seriously, because you look at your produce and you're like, I'm not getting that. And I went to, where was I just at? A HEB that's not near my house. And they have like an end cap where it's all the older produce that's like about to be go bad.
For cheaper, right?
It's like a whole bag of just different stuff for like $1. It was like onions, peppers, zucchini, but they just put it in like all together.
Yeah.
And it's $1.
That's so smart and that's so needed, depending on what community that you're in. It's people can afford that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I was saying. I was like, oh, that's such a good idea, especially like you think about it. I know for me, like I don't get a whole bunch of produce, maybe just fruit, but like vegetables and stuff, I kind of tend to do more of like 2 days worth of stuff so it doesn't go bad. So if I go to the dollar thing, I can make my whole meal. It's not going to go bad because I'm about to use it. So it's a smart concept. all the way around.
Listen, we should have come up with that business model. Dang.
I know. And when I thought about it, that's what I'm saying. I was like, man, I could have went to the grocery store and been like, where's all your stuff that's about to be like bad? I'll buy it from you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a good, good promos that you were doing, because I was like, oh yeah, that's so smart.
Yeah. It's dope. I love that company.
Yeah. So talk to me about like planning events, because I don't know if it's still there, but you had your taste at a restaurant after you had done an event there, which I thought was pretty cool. How did that even come about?
So I don't know if you just saw me. I was wiping my fake tear. Because that honestly, so that was Green Vegetarian Cuisine. And they actually are no longer in Houston because of the pandemic. Many restaurants, including them, had to close down.
Yeah.
And so what happened was, I don't remember the inception. I think that they had a marketing manager at the time. He was amazing. Like when I say he was thorough, amazing, and just we talked for hours at planning the event. So he reached out. He's like, "Yo, I like your content, because of course when I go there, I'm tagging them. They're seeing it." Yeah. And he was just like, "Yo, would you be interested in doing an event?" And the event setup was dope, because we'll pay, the tickets would be $35, so to speak. And let's say I'll get, they'll get 25, I'll get 10. Right. Mm-hmm. So, people come. It's just a great way to make money. And as an entrepreneur, I am an entrepreneur as well. I mean, I do a lot of things: speak, entrepreneur, educator. But that was important for me, just making sure that it was mutually beneficial. So they reached out to me, thank God. And, this isn't a braggadocious type of situation, but a lot of entities, companies, organizations, what have you, people have reached out to me because they maybe like my personality, or like how I post something, or like how I said something. And I that is a blessing to me, and I'm always humbled by it. So they reached out to me and they're like, "Yo, would you like to do an event?" I was like, "Absolutely." And from that, I got the chance to do it maybe like 3 or 4 times. Mm-hmm. I've gone to San Antonio, did a sold out one. I've done like 2 or 3 in Houston. And so I think the second one, a guy, his name is Merlin, Wild Passion on Instagram. What up, Merlin? So he actually is an artist that worked at Green Vegetarian Cuisine, and he essentially created it. And for the second one, I feel like it had to be for like the second one, and it just stayed up there. I thought they were going to erase it, but it stayed up there, and I was like, "Yo!" So it would be the dopest thing when I have family come into town, and I'm like, "Hey, y'all, that's me. Like, let's take a picture." Or people would tag me on Instagram, or they'll be like, "Yo, I was at Green today, and I saw you." So I mean, I'm still humbled and so honored every time I think about that. But yeah, they reached out to me. They're like, "Yo, would you like to do an event? Or we should do an event together." And I think we came up with that concept. And I really want to get back into curating more event spaces, something more luxurious and something more like regular. So thank you for allowing me to remember that, so that I can actually get off my behind and put something into motion. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I think that when the fact that you could do that in more than one city says a lot about your reach too. Because, this is where you're from, but this is where you live, but you can go to a neighboring city and sell out an event the same way you would do in Houston.
That's wild.
That's a good thing. But you mentioned, people reach out to you because they like how you presented something or how you said something. And then earlier you were talking about how we kind of doubt ourselves. So talk to me a little bit about that, because I definitely have been in a situation like when I first started trying to be like other people that I follow who have been doing this for like 5-6 years. And, now they have, tens and thousands of followers. So I'm copying them, but not being myself. And I feel like it came across as I wasn't being myself because the needle was not moving. So talk to me about that, because I think that is a big thing, especially on social media, where we create what we think people want to see, as opposed to just people finding the authentic you?
I think that there's this meme I recently saw on Instagram, and it said, social media is designed to make us like, oh, I want to be like this. I want to travel to this place. I would like to eat this thing. I'm sure you have like tons of saved recipes on your Instagram, because I know I do. Let's be real. And so I think that in finding your authentic voice, it comes with sitting down and figuring out what you actually want to do. But the other side of that, it actually includes people. And this is what I mean. If people are always reaching out to Aisha about one thing, like, yo, can you please show us you feeding your baby vegan food? Mm-hmm. Why would you focus on doing reels of you making charcuterie boards? Yeah. People don't want to see that. People might want to see charcuterie boards, but people who follow you want to see that. So it's like, keep your eye on the prize, right? The prize is whatever your end goal is. Whoever is watching this, whatever your end goal is, but also just kind of like write down, like, what do you want to do? Like, what is your authentic voice? And if we're being honest, we don't know what our authentic voice is some of the time.
Yeah.
I've been in situations where I had to remind myself, like, yo, when you go down the cereal aisle, you got the affordable cereal. I don't eat cereal, but you got the affordable cereal. You have the expensive cereal. You have the off-name brand. You have the ones that are tried and true, like Cheerios. It's been around for a million years. So if you are focused on like, yo, Cheerios has been around, I'm not going to create something more affordable. It's just like, your tribe will find you. Mm-hmm. Your tribe will find you. And I believe that. So I want to definitely say that was a journey for me, figuring out, okay, like who am I? I'm gonna give you another secret. I don't know if I shared this either. Damn, you get all my secrets? Like I was not expecting this, but I love the analytics of Instagram, how they show you the analytics. And I was recently having a conversation with someone, and not for nothing, 60 to 70% of my viewers are women. Mm-hmm. And so I literally said recently, I am not pandering or catering to dudes. Like, dudes ain't checking for me like that. I mean, some are, right? And like, yo, what up, brother? I appreciate you. Like, you're the real one. For the dudes that are checking, but for the most part, it's women engaging, liking, sharing with their man, sharing with their boyfriend. Yeah. Like, yo, man, check out the Plant Based Brotha. He's a young Black man who's doing X, Y, and Z. So that's what they're doing. And so I want people to be mindful of just all those factors, making sure that you are giving your target audience and your followers what they like. 1, 2, just keep your eye on the prize. And 3, just making sure that you are creative and realize, like, yo, there's somebody absolutely in the world that does exactly what it is that you do, but they're not going to do it like you.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there who is plant-based with locks, right? But they're not the plant-based brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I have to always remind myself.
Yeah. And it's funny that you talked about the analytics, because I am in like this masterclass for podcasting.
I love it.
And we talk about like one of your first assignments is you kind of write a description of your ideal person. Like, who are you talking to? Mm-hmm. So I wrote up all my stuff. And then once I learned about the analytics on Instagram, I'm like, oh, she's nowhere in here. Like, wow. It's pretty even between men and women, between 34 and 44. Mm-hmm. And that was not necessarily who I was initially talking to. Mm-hmm. So when like my numbers kind of went up, I had to go back and look at what I was posting at that time. So I'm like, oh, okay. So y'all really do want to see me more. Like I'm sitting here posting my guests and like lead ups to my guests, but people actually like when I talk about my guests as opposed to like putting up a picture of them and having a caption or like, I'm voiceovering over, pictures of them scrolling through. They want to see me say like, hey, this week I'll be talking to whatever. Yep. So it was interesting. But I think that is one of the things that is work for people.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like,
Facts.
I have this like one track mind that this is what I want to post. This is what I want to do. And then when they look at if they ever look at their analytics.
Right.
Yeah, because some people don't. But it's like all of a sudden, you know, my views went down, my likes went down, you know, my engagement went down. And then it's, you know, you have to look at what you're doing. Like you can't always blame everything on Instagram.
Yeah.
Is some of it a part of Instagram? Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
right.
I think that you know, you have to kind of think about that. Cause I know like for me, I just like doing videos for fun. Like if
for sure.
like
Me
a
too.
sound that comes up and I'm like, oh, I'm about to make a reel about that. It's not really for engagement, it's for myself. So, you know, when only, you know, 60 people see it, I'm like, I don't care. Like that wasn't
And
that wasn't the intent of that post.
I love that. And you know, the greats, the media greats, Gary Vee, Eric Thomas, whomever, just they say, like, you have to be okay with, you know, we think we're supposed to have 100,000 followers overnight.
Yeah.
You gotta consistently put out good content and good work, offering value to people. Like, what is your value proposition?
Yeah.
So I love that you're creating videos. You may get 6 views, 600 views, or 6,000 views, or 60,000 views, but just keep going, keep pushing.
Yeah. And I mean, like for me, like one of the things, this is from somebody like years ago, talked about when you get paid. Yeah. And when you get paid on Instagram and you're asking for money to do posts, you look at the number of followers that you have and then the views that you have. And if your views are more than 10% of your followers, then that's a good thing.
10%. So if you have 10,000 followers, then if your views are over 1,000, that's good.
Right. So like I'm small fry. So I'm at like 600, which actually it has grown since December.
That's dope.
Kind of put it in some purposeful things through social media. I've gained like 200 and something followers since December.
Yeah,
so
it's good.
Yeah, it's coming along. I'm okay with it. But my thing, like when I was at 500 followers, you know, really, I didn't need that many views. So anything that I got, I was like, oh yeah, I'm winning.
Yep.
If anybody ever asked me anything and I have like 500 views, I'm 100% right there. Like you can't sit here and ask, you know, try to pay me nothing. Right. When 100% of my followers and, you know, are looking at my videos. Yeah. Even though half of them are not my followers, but still.
Right. That's not the point. That you get eyes on it. Absolutely.
So that's kind of how I look at things, where it's like you can't, because the video that I saw was talking about how there are people who, like me, have under 10,000 followers who make money. Because
can I just say something? There are people out there that are millionaires and billionaires and making crazy bank, and they have less followers than your favorite people. Yeah. Some of our favorite people are not getting those checks like they should, right? Because you have all those followers. How do you turn that into something that is beneficial and you're making Instagram work for you, right? But don't get it twisted. The numbers, when I had 10,000 followers, I was like, yes. Something funny that I was like mad about, like fake mad, of course. Something funny that I was mad about was the fact that the allure of having 10,000 followers, or like the benefit, was like you get to swipe up. Yeah. And now they took away the swipe up, and everybody can put a link. And I was like, I hopped on. I got 10,000 followers, you know, a year too late, but but it's all vanity metrics. But they matter and they're important in the grand scheme of things in negotiations. But definitely know, y'all, there are people that are getting to the bag figuratively and every other way with 300 followers.
Yeah.
100 followers.
Yep. And one of the things that the guy talked about was the fact that it shows companies that your followers are loyal followers. Like they're
Yes.
going to constantly be engaged with you.
Yes.
And whereas, like you said, you have somebody that has 40,000 followers and 20 views on their
right.
video.
That engagement be low. It's like, bro, you bought your followers, man.
Yeah. And it's like no one is even looking at it. Forget about, liking it. And so that tells businesses that you haven't built trust with your followers.
Wow, that's good.
Because no one's coming to look at your content, whether it shows up on their feed or not. Because there's people that like, I don't have notifications on, but I'm like, oh, I haven't seen anything from this person in a while. And then I'll go to their page and like look.
You'll see all of the
Yeah, like I'd have missed months of your content, but so yeah, it's very interesting
to say the least. Yeah,
to see how everything kind of unfolds with social media. So you just, you have to be able to connect to people who don't know you. Yeah. And like you said, that includes like engaging with people who are similar to you. Don't look at them as competition. Their audience is your audience. So some of them may come over to your page if you're commenting on somebody that's similar to you. And I see them and I'm like, oh, Plant Based Brotha.
Exactly.
Go to his page.
It happens all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. And one of the biggest things that I got from this masterclass is to be social on social media. You have to treat it like you are at a party.
Tell me more. I like that. Tell me more.
So she says, if you're at a party and you go to the party with a friend, right? You don't know anybody else, but you know your friend.
Right.
So you and your friend are talking, and then somebody else that your friend knows comes over to the conversation. So are you going to just stand there and not say anything? Or are you going to now comment after this person says something?
I like that a lot.
So that's what you do on social media. You go to somebody you follow's page. You comment under that person's post, but then you're going to read other people's comments like, oh, you know what, girl, that makes so much sense. I agree. I agree. Or actually, that's not true because, honey is not vegan or something like you said.
Right.
Interacting with these posts as opposed to just clicking like, leaving your little comment and then going.
Right.
So she said, doing that is like you coming up to a group of people who are talking and being like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. It sounds cool. See you later. And then you walk away. Like you don't do that in real life.
In real life. Nah, that's a great analogy.
So
I love that analogy.
You have to be social on social media.
Yeah.
Right. You engage with people, I pick my battles because I'm the type that like I don't like going back and forth with people, so I don't comment.
Oh, not on social media. Oh my gosh.
No, yeah. I don't comment on controversial things. I try to keep it light and like,
love and light.
There are certain things where I'm just like inside. I don't agree. So I would be the person at the party who hears people talking about politics like, oh, I'm gonna step back from that conversation.
I'm go to the
let me go get a snack. So there's just certain stuff that I don't engage with people. I just feel like, when people have their minds made up about certain things, you really can't
change it. Yeah, exactly.
It's ingrained. So, but yeah, so that is legitimately how I'm gaining followers because I'm intentionally being social on social media. So out of the platforms that you are on, which one do you think you have the most engagement?
I'll do most and least. Most, least, and the one I wish I had most engagement on. The most is Instagram. Least is like YouTube because I'm not consistent on YouTube. Yeah. And it literally is the act of like just taking a video and putting it on YouTube. Super simple. I have pretty good engagement on Facebook, and I'm able to post different things on Facebook that sometimes I'm not able to post on Instagram. And the one I wish I had more engagement on is TikTok. And I haven't quite hit that TikTok algorithm, you know what I mean? But I know that's that's where it is. That's where that's where
Yeah,
everybody is.
I
I
know.
love that Reels is kind of like their own thing but I don't know if you remember when Reels first got there, everybody was transporting from TikTok to Instagram. They're not doing that as much these days, but yeah.
Yeah,
I am an Instagrammer for sure.
yeah, I agree. I mean, Instagram is what I've like kind of used the most. And so I just automatically post the most there.
Right.
But I'm trying to get better with Twitter. Because everybody's on Twitter.
Everybody, everything is on
yes.
Twitter.
So Twitter is like more of the information.
Right.
Like people go to Twitter for information. I'm not even gonna lie. When all that stuff happened yesterday at the Oscars, I was on Twitter.
Oh, you was trying to see what Black Twitter was talking about.
I was on Twitter.
Yeah.
Anytime something happens, I don't even look on the news or not. I go to Twitter, I type it in, and I want to see what is happening in real time.
Yep.
So I'm trying to get better with posting on Twitter, engaging with people on Twitter. It is working slowly because of my slow interactions with people. But, and then I do want to get better with TikTok, but I just, in reading this article.
I'm nervous.
No, not for you. Okay. TikTok is oversaturated with podcasts. So I don't no. Twitter is oversaturated with podcasts.
I can see that.
And TikTok is not. I knew it was backwards because I was like, I started on Twitter because I was like, I feel like I need to go to Twitter. And then an article came up and was like, where do podcasters need to migrate? And it was saying like Twitter's oversaturated.
Go to TikTok.
Instagram is hard to like keep engagement because your stuff is audio. So if you don't have a visual component to your podcast, it's hard to engage with people on Instagram. And then Facebook is kind of like the population of Facebook is
hit or miss. Yeah.
And they were saying that on TikTok, you can build communities on TikTok.
Really?
You can kind of be in a podcast community.
Yeah. I can see that.
Or, a plant-based community.
Oh, for sure.
And, a lot of it is by hashtag. So I was like, okay, I have to do better. I mean, I feel like Instagram is easy because they give you the little icon when the audio is starting to trend. So I'm about to use that one.
Yep.
I gotta do too much research to figure out what I want to do, what I want to use, like hashtags. It's too much thinking.
It's a lot.
I know, and I know people who have gotten on TikTok and
like they just blew up, and it's like, yo, what are they doing that I'm not doing? Yes.
So I'm like, how do you have so many people viewing your stuff? This is gonna sound hilarious. So when TikTok switched from Musical.ly to TikTok, all of my like younger cousins were on there. So they're like in their teens. But my mom used to keep them like for the summer, like some of my like younger cousins.
Yeah.
And she created Musical.ly, which then turned into TikTok so that she could see what they were doing.
Right.
All of a sudden, one summer,
I'm
not even kidding. My mom went viral on TikTok.
What?
I'm not even kidding.
No!
She has several videos that have like 1 million views. She hasn't done it in a while just because she doesn't feel like, doing it. But when she was first on there, they like invited her to like this TikTok thing in New York. And like she was the business. She was like, and she would be like, when I do the simple ones, I get all these views. But when I'm working hard, setting stuff up, nobody's
like that.
Yeah.
Always like that.
Yes. So she was like, I feel like I need to get back on TikTok. I'm like, go for it.
Yeah, and feature you and the baby, just anything that would more eyes, that's more eyes.
Yeah, it was just so funny. She's like, when I got on TikTok, here's where I was going with this. She's like, I'm going to tell people to go follow you, all of my followers.
Yo,
I'm going to tell people
Mama the plug.
to go
Mama's the
like
plug.
your videos. And I was like,
Oh my
really?
gosh. Mama is the plug. You hear me? Yeah.
That was just hilarious to me. But yeah. So now in 2022, big things are happening, I feel like, for so many people.
Yeah.
Where are we going? Where is the Plant Based Brotha going?
I love that question. Yeah, creating more content. I love reels. I get excited when I do a dope reel, and I love that. Because there was a time, I don't remember how long it was, but it maybe ended a couple months ago. And it probably started like last summer. And there was a time where I was just like, I did not want to be creative. I didn't want to do anything of the sort when it comes to just Plant-Based Brotha. Like, I posted here and there, but I feel like my creative edge was it wasn't there. And I think that it is okay because sometimes we feel like we have to keep up with the demands of like, oh, I have to post every day. And that honestly is what kept me off TikTok for a long time. And I had to free myself. I literally had to free myself from that. So yeah. Creating great content. I'm back in the groove. I love doing that. I want to, from our conversation earlier, I want to do more events. I have a couple of things in mind I'm not speaking on just yet because if it happens next year, I'm like, okay, cool. At least no one's looking forward to it. But I want to curate some more. I want to definitely curate some more events. And then speaking on panels, speaking at conferences, speaking at HBCUs. I'm a huge HBCU advocate and grad, and they have fried chicken, fried fish Fridays and chicken wing Wednesdays. And I would love to talk about like, go green Mondays or, veggie taco Tuesdays or something like that. So definitely want to work on those partnerships with our HBCUs and just helping the next generation eat better, do better. And yeah, creating more stuff and more collaborations, more paid collaborations in Jesus' name. Hallelujah. I definitely need some more paid collaborations because Daddy Light still, I got to still pay the bills for my lights every month. So I'm just saying, but yeah, that's 2022. I'm excited for this year. This year is, I had a Instagram reel that hit 116,000 views and counting. I was just like, wait, I'll be lying. Let me take a step back. I'll be lying if I didn't say every time I made a reel, oh, this is going to be the one to hit 10,000 followers. When I first hit 10,000 views, I was like, yo, this is lit.
Yeah.
But then I hit 79 views on one, I was like, oh, this is lit too. But when I hit 116 views, I was just like, whoa, like this feels good. So I feel like the one I posted today, follow at the Plant Based Brotha. I feel like this one is going to be like the best one. This one's going to be good. This one's going to be good. I made a everything but bagel sandwich, but it was so delectable, so delicious. And I feel like everybody needs to make it. And so, yeah, I feel like this one is going to be just do crazy numbers. But just hitting these crazy numbers. These are just my own personal goals. And it's really dope in real time to be reaching these goals and seeing these goals. So yeah, 2022, I'm claiming this is going to be the greatest year to date for Plant Based Brotha.
Yeah. I will say that when you make things, I don't know what it is about the videos, but it is very engaging. Because there's been times when like I've scrolled and I've come up, across one of your videos, and I'm like, oh, that looks so good. Like, I mean, I don't eat tofu, but you made like something with tofu one time, and I was like, okay, I got to figure out how to make tofu not from soy.
Have you heard of pumpfu?
Yeah, with the pumpkin seeds.
Yeah, it's so good. So good.
But you can also make it with chickpeas. It's like a whole recipe that incorporates like chickpeas and some other stuff, and you kind of create like a mold and you put it in the refrigerator for it to like stiffen,
Yes.
Like a whole thing. But anyway, I looked that up because you made something with tofu, and I was like,
God.
okay, I
Yes.
don't eat soy, but that looks so good. So I got to figure out how to get an alternative to this tofu. What I was going to say to you was, I would like to see you partner with District Market. Do you know who that is?
Tell me more. I'm all ears. District Market.
Okay, so the guy was on. I actually emailed him to be on the podcast, but he haven't responded yet. So
it's on the way. It's on the way.
Yeah, I'm claiming it. So his name is Robert Thomas.
Okay, is he a brother man?
He is.
Okay.
So Robert Thomas owns District Market, Green Grocer. Okay. He, during COVID, he had a nightclub. The nightclub, of course, got shut down because you couldn't go out.
Right, exactly.
So he comes up, he's like, I got to do something. Like, I can't just have this space sitting here. He noticed that everything was closed, but you could go to the grocery store. So he was like, you know what? I'm about to turn this club into a grocery store.
Stop playing.
He turned his club into a grocery store. It took some months, everything to be transformed.
Yeah.
Right. It got him on the Ellen show. So he was on Ellen last month because of what he did. And so his goal now is to tackle food deserts within the Houston area and open these district grocery stores, the markets. Not all plant-based, not all vegan food is, there's meat in there, there's, all kind of stuff, but I still feel like, because it's independent vendors that are in there too. There's somebody that's selling sea moss in there. There's some people that are selling lotions and soaps that set up in there to sell their stuff. And then with regular groceries, mostly produce from what I saw. I haven't been there yet, but I am going to go.
Yes.
But just in thinking, I'm like, I feel like that would be a cool collaboration. Like, you go there to shop and then you go home and cook, what you buy from his.
Yeah, that's dope. District, it's called District Grocer.
District Market.
District Market, okay.
Yeah. District Market Green Grocer.
Okay.
Yeah. You can find it on Instagram. That's how I found him. So I actually found him through another page that I was following. I think it was like maybe Black Market or one of those like vendors that had like all Black people selling stuff. And they reposted his logo. And I was like, what the heck is this?
What's this? Yeah.
So when I looked, lo and behold, like, it's a grocery store, and it was like coming soon. I forgot what side of town it's on.
Yeah, I'm about to say, what side of town is it on? I genuinely am interested and would love to check it out. And I mean, it's closed this week for some renovations or something, but yeah, I was like, okay, now I got to go there and introduce myself to him so he can be on my podcast. That part, yeah, for sure.
But no, but I've been wanting to go ever since he opened.
Yeah.
So yeah, but he was on Ellen, and I was like, that's what's up.
Yo, listen.
And like on his episode, she goes, thank you for being a part of my final season. I'm like, dang, no one else is about to be on Ellen.
No one else, like
after this year.
Yeah.
So
I need to get tickets to go to see a show or something like that. I
don't know. That's probably gonna be hard.
Hard, super hard, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was throwing that out there because I'm like, I could see like something, with
synergy there.
Kind of working together. Yeah. I think it would be cool, honestly.
Thank you. I'm gonna do my due diligence and research and reach out to him. You know what I mean? That because I love the premise of that. Like, clubs, that's so outdated. That's so overrated. Let's have more grocery stores. Let's feed the people. People are hungry. People need to eat.
And not always a restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to have restaurants, but not everybody wants to go to a restaurant. So instead of turning all these spaces, you know, in Third Ward into clubs, bars, and restaurants. Make a grocery store, you know, clear some space and do a farmer's market.
Yes. Love that.
So yeah. Okay. I had to
thank you for that
out there, because when you started talking about collabs, I was like, yeah, that
I could see it, like I could vision it. Yeah.
So all right, so to wrap it up, you are going to be the first person that gets asked these questions. This is going to be like a new little piece of the podcast. So
I love it.
We are called The Color of Influence. So I would like to know, how do you feel you influence other people?
Ooh, that's a great one. I think that I influence other people just through my personality. I'm a believer. I believe in God and in Jesus, and I believe that like He is the light, and I can have that light within me, and I give it to other people. So something I'm really big on is, you know, and I fall short daily, but for the most part, I am really big on showing people dignity, honor, and grace, even on social media. So I do that in my everyday life, but also on social media. So I think I influence people by actually somebody sends me a message and I actually like respond. Right? They're like, yo, this dude, he ain't no Hollywood. I'm like, no, I'm regular dude, just like y'all. So I do it through that. I do that also through making sure people are put onto different things. Like there are a lot of people that don't know. And I think we talked about a little bit earlier, some people don't know that, hey, there are other ways. If you don't do soy, you can use chickpeas, or you can use pump food, which I absolutely love, right? So just what's in your world, what's your lifestyle, what you know, just enlightening somebody else. That's how you influence someone other. And that's how I do it. And last but not least, I influence other people by just being an unapologetic. I'm not going to try to say that 3 times fast. Being an unapologetic young man that is just operating in purpose, operating in gift, operating in service, operating in just enlightenment. Right? I think that's how I influence people, just operating in that purpose and being the light of Christ, and also just providing value in my posts, in my stories. And if someone asks me a question like, hey, bro, yeah, go to District Market. It's in the 3rd Ward, and they have X, Y, and Z. You can check it out. Or they have this at Trader Joe's, and you don't have to spend a lot of money at Whole Foods. So just doing that with individuals, that's how you influence. Because the word of mouth is still to this day the best marketing tool. Yeah. So if someone likes and trusts you, they're going to tell someone else. And that is how I influence people. Absolutely.
I agree. So next question. Mm-hmm. Who has influenced you along this plant-based journey, along your social media journey, or just in life in general?
Do you want one person or 3 different people?
I say you do what you feel.
Okay.
Give these people their flowers, whether they are here or not.
Ooh, okay. Life, I think my grandfather, I'm very proud to say that the men in my family actually know how to cook. And my grandfather, who was the patriarch of our family before he passed last year, I grew up seeing a Black man in the kitchen cooking. It wasn't oh, that's a woman's job. Like, no, like my granddaddy was the cook of the family. Like people came to my home to taste my granddaddy's food or whatnot. So definitely that was a good life influence. In the social media world, it's a bunch of people. I'm just thinking about when I first started out, like my friend Veggie Peggy, my big bro Turnip Vegan, Bam's Vegan. These are people that I've been following for such a long time, and just Brown Vegan. I think Brown Vegan, super dope. What up, Monique? She was one of the first people in like the plant-based world to interview me. She's like, yo, I'm gonna interview this dude. I had like a couple thousand followers, but my episode was still dope. I was still me. I was still I didn't change. I haven't changed, right? So 500 followers, 5,000 followers, or 50,000. I'm not changing. And it was through that, I think that opened up so many doors So she's someone definitely on social media that helped me on that journey. And that definitely has inspired me. And then in the plant-based world, I was like kind of a 2-for-1. Yeah, those are the people. Those are definitely people that have inspired me along my journey, whether it's in life or social media or just the plant-based world.
Yeah. Good list of people. I do know lots of them.
Yes.
I think that Bam has been like,
oh my gosh, that's my guy. Like he is like good people, like real good. And I can't wait to go to his restaurant in Dallas.
Yeah.
So I need to definitely hit that up.
Yeah, because when he cooks food, like some of it, I don't even eat some of that stuff, but I'm like, I would probably just be like, I'm just
hey, so be it. Yeah.
Yeah. It just it always looks so good.
It does.
And I'm just like, yeah, I would totally eat that.
Yeah.
So do you see yourself like maybe getting into that space of like catering or meal planning or owning a restaurant, a juice bar?
Never say never. Never say that. At this time, I'm like, I like the overhead. I was like, I don't want to be the one to cook. Because I did meal prep in 2019. So it was 2019. And it was cool, but shortly thereafter, I was like, I'd rather have somebody cook or whatnot, or I cook for like an event, but not necessarily like for people weekly. And the restaurant space, I'd rather be a restaurateur. A vegan restaurateur where, hey, we got the first Michelin star vegan restaurant and it's in, Rome, Italy. Like, yo, we want the plant-based brother to come.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like that's what vibe I'm on. But as far as like having my own as of right now, I don't see it, but you have plans and God may have other plans. But as of right now, that's the vein I want to be in. Just going all across the world and trying some amazing, dope, healthy, and delicious and flavorful plant-based vegan food.
I can dig it. I definitely see you doing that.
Thank you.
Just because, like, I feel like when you talk about food, it's very relatable. Because I tell people all the time, vegans are some of the biggest liars I've ever met. And let me tell you why I say that.
Tell me why. Oh,
I have been suckered into cooking so many things and having the person say, this tastes just like whatever. Don't lie. It does not.
Right. And that's cool if it does not.
Right. Exactly. But don't say it. Like when you've had something, don't tell me this tastes like chicken. It's good, but it doesn't taste like chicken.
It's like chicken, right?
Yeah. Like this is good, but it doesn't taste like pulled pork. Like I haven't been vegan my whole life. So this jackfruit don't taste like
it's good, but yeah, that's so funny.
So I always say, like, whenever I tell people something, they'll be like, well, what does it taste like? Does it taste like chicken? No, it tastes like a fried mushroom, but it's good. Like, I'm not gonna tell you.
And that's okay to say. That is okay to say.
Yeah, exactly. So I tell people all the time because I make stuff under the impression that this Brazil nut mixture is about to taste like mozzarella cheese.
Exactly.
And it's not nasty, but it's not mozzarella cheese, or it's not ricotta cheese, or it's not. It's good though.
It is.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that people say taste like something. I'm like, just say it's good. Like,
it's good, right?
Try it. Like, don't give people that impression, because I feel like it turns people off. Say that something tastes like something, and then I eat it, and I'm like, this doesn't taste anything like that. Like, this is nasty. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that will taste like or have the same texture as other foods, but that doesn't mean that you need to make the comparison. Because I feel like when people are not vegan and they eat it and they have this thought in their mind of it's supposed to taste like, instead of you saying, don't think about pulled pork, think about the fact that this is just as good.
Way more healthier.
That's and it's grammar, not pork, but if you get that similar feel.
Yes.
But don't tell somebody that it tastes like that, and then they eat it, and they're like, "I'm not eating vegan." See, this is why I can't be vegan.
Wow, that's why I don't fool with y'all people. Exactly.
Exactly, and I hear that a lot, and I feel like when you talk about stuff, you never make the comparison.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, thank you for noticing that. I don't feel like I do that either. That's
No.
like, it's just like, no, I had chicken. Last time I had chicken was like in 2000. I don't even remember. I remember certain things, but yeah, it's been a long time. So I ain't going like, no, this is amazing cauliflower. This is amazing oyster mushroom. So yeah.
Right. And that's what I mean. Like, and I think that if people start using that language,
yes,
like this is way better than having a buffalo wing, or this is way better.
Way better. And so much healthier, you know what I mean, as well.
Yeah. I think that people would not be so like down on vegan food. And I also think like with places like the Slutty Vegan and places that have stuff that does have a similar taste, it's very processed, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
But they think that, and they're like, well, when I go there, that tastes like a burger.
Exactly.
So, why is it that when I go over here and I go to eat this, this burger that has nothing but plants, literally, nothing, doesn't have the form of, a patty. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, this is a vegan burger? Oh, no, I don't want that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's so hard to get people to convert with all these different messages of what vegan food is.
Yes.
So I appreciate the fact that, you just keep it real. It's like, no, this is not chicken. This is better for you. It's healthier. You have the same texture.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but it's, this is a mushroom. Look at this. You pull it apart. It might look like chicken, but it's a mushroom.
It's a mushroom, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, I say that to people all the time when they're like, well, what does it taste like? It just tastes good. Just eat it.
It's good. Just eat it, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I definitely appreciate it. Because I feel like it's more relatable.
Yes.
When people are honest.
That part. Yeah.
As I tell people, I'm telling you, that's the first thing. I'm like, vegans are the biggest liars because they say everything tastes like something and it does not.
It doesn't. It's like, it's so good. And it's like, that wasn't really that good.
Yeah. Because I've had stuff where I'm like,
like, how are y'all selling this? I'll make sense.
I wouldn't call this what you're saying it is. It's good, but I wouldn't make that comparison.
Right.
So anyway, off my soapbox. This has been such a great conversation.
I know, so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
All jokes aside, like, let's not just leave this here. Let's continue to connect.
Yes.
Offline. And I feel like I was exposed to so much when, the couple of weeks that we got to hang out. Yeah. But yeah, like, I think what you're doing is great. And it is nice to see a different perspective, to see someone of color in that space and navigating it so greatly. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. The pleasure has been mine. Y'all listen, the color of influence. I mean, I'm just honored to be a guest. And I'm sure in a couple of years, #1 podcast on Apple Music, on iTunes, on Spotify, on Anchor, on all of them. Just, you heard it here first, just saying.
Hey, I'll claim it as well.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for taking the time out this evening to have this conversation. Anytime you have something where you want to come back, or
I might suggest somebody for you to interview.
Absolutely. And I will be just as happy to do that. So if you have somebody where you're just like, I think your story is great, it's dope, you really need to go on this podcast, hit up Aisha at The Color Influence. I'll be ready. For
sure. Thank you so much, Aisha. This was fun.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap on another amazing episode. I know that you were just as inspired as I was after listening to that conversation. And to let us know how we're doing, don't forget to leave us a review, like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can also follow us on all social media platforms, from YouTube to Facebook, at The Color of Influence, and on Instagram, the_color_of_influence. You can check out all of our episodes and additional content on our website, thecolorofinfluence.com, and that's an N only for influence. And don't forget to share the podcast with someone you know, and have them share the podcast with someone they know. Thank you all for listening. Until next time, peace out.